Oxford Dictionary, to perceive is to take in or apprehend with the mind. To observe an external object through the senses. It is to discover by some sensible effects, and to recognize. Perception is one's understanding of external stimuli. It is the way someone becomes aware of something through senses or mental intuition. It is one's point of view. It is their response to the world around them. All day, stimuli is around us, stimulating our senses. We all have our own individual interpretations of the world, even in the way we physically experience it. Your perception of seeing is sight. Your perception of scent is smell. Your perception of flavor is taste. Your perception of feeling is touch. Your perception of sound is use and hearing. We're using perception as we're eating our breakfast, washing our face, brushing our teeth, playing outside on the trampoline, browsing the web. Hey! And even while we're listening to music. The sights, smells, tastes, feelings, and sounds are the external stimuli. Sometimes perception isn't always used the way we think. Take, for example, a deaf person who has no perception of sound. For those who can't hear, such as Miss Shanetta, a deaf woman, she must perceive speech by way of the hands, using sign language. She uses her eyes to watch every facial expression and sign, and thus perceives the message. The signs and expressions are the external stimuli, and her vision and interpretation of those signs are her perception. Perception can also be used cognitively, like in situations of learning. When I'm learning a foreign language, I have to use my mind to apprehend what I hear and interpret what I have in my own mind. Even when I'm in my chemistry class, I have to really observe and try to understand numerous principles and lessons my teacher teaches. Perception is also defined as one's opinion of a certain external stimuli. It is one's emotions and passions aroused in a certain situation. Here my friend Jordan describes his definition of perception from a musician's point of view.
Perception is stimuli that's coming towards you. And it's basically how your brain interprets that and reacts to it. How you interpret the music that comes to you. How it makes you feel. The emotions brought by it. The thoughts that are brought by it. The memories that come by it. The nostalgia of a certain song.
Perception can be a very emotional point of view. Jordan is very passionate about music, his stimulus. My Muslim classmate Salwa is a great depiction of this definition.
My definition of the word perception has to do with what you believe in as well as what you were raised in. And I think those two go hand in hand, and we as human beings don't really notice the fact that how we were raised, the environment we grew up in, and what we just believe in from the get-go all are combined.
Salwa was asked to give her Muslim point of view on the idea of beauty.
My Muslim point of view is that beauty is on the inside, and we try to focus on that, especially in our religion, and try to implement that within our culture. So we don't really focus on what's outside and how you physically look, because that's considered a distraction and it's not really important. It's not.
You know, sometimes our perception can be an illusion. Mr. Danny will tell you about it.
The word perception. What people think about something rather than what it actually is. Looking at me, someone might have the perception that I am someone who has a lot of hair. See, this is the problem, is people begin to confuse their reality with their perception of reality until they reach the point where they don't actually know which is which. Which one is the real me? Is it this or this?
asked my friend Deborah how she defines perception.
Maybe the way people see you, the way you see yourself, just how you see things.
This cat perceives himself as a lion. And this girl's distorted perception of herself is that she's overweight, when she's really far from it. Deborah, too, has a story about how perception can become an illusion.
I think every person has or is self-conscious in some way. When I was younger, I used to not like my natural face whatsoever because I started getting like acne and stuff at a younger age, and people used to make fun of me for it. But right now, I see a strong person.
In this case, Deborah is the stimuli. In her view and the view of others is the perception. Perception is relative to each person. Everyone has a different perspective on life, a different background, a different understanding of life's issues. Our intuition, our embedded thoughts, our mental reaction to life's circumstances. Our perception is the result of our own creativity, or even our own state of being. Our perception is our own understanding of ourselves and of other people. The way we interpret life is our perception. Perception is what we see, what we hear, what we taste, what we smell, and what we feel.